but the industry
Pointing
and the
out
sector,
to the industry
that in that particular district,
region.
not region,
Mahalla.
Hokimyat, Mahalla works very well. We will tell them, we'll say, okay, you know, here, for instance, just now opened a factory on livestock, for instance. So you have the opportunity to, you know, help them in breeding, in doing some small business for the small lambs, for the animals. I mean, we will give this indication, but I believe it would be a very big mistake to tell them what type of business they need to open, because in this way we would undermine their motivation. They will be told on what to do. Maybe they don't have any vocation to do that. Maybe they don't like that particular sector, and you know, when you don't like your job, you are
Not happy.
No, but you will fail, because again, especially in the startup of any business, and I speak also for personal experience, there are a lot of challenges. So either you are motivated even when you fail, or if not fail, when you have big problems, by a higher goal. But if you also don't like something, you do something you don't like, you have no hope to survive in the business. So it will really depend from them to choose what to do. And we should follow their inspiration. The key and let's say the heart of this project is the motivation, is the people that really want to change their life. Because trust me, even in this training, if my experience has taught me something, there will be people that will drop off. There will be people that will not come every day. And they will advance excuses. They will say, you know, my mother-in-law was sick, my kid was sick, I was sick, I had to go there, I had a funeral. Maybe it's true, but often it's not. Simply they find something more interesting to do and they just drop the training. And our goal is to avoid from the very beginning to invite these people to the training.
Of course, because your ultimate goal is to have higher conversion of in a filter,
yeah,
in a pipeline, retention rate.
Yeah. I still believe that the hardest part will be to ensure that this business training convert into something tangible. Because, you know, if we have just to meet the quota, we can do. I'm confident we can do. The problem is to ensure that they turn into something real, you know, not just 5 days training or, you know, mentoring and follow up, but something real, something that in 1 year will still be there. Possible.
200 women under the pilot for April and May.
Yeah.
And then summer, July, August is going to be your time when you get to evaluate the pilot results.
No, the pilot results for the content of the training will be available in May already, not in July. In July there will be additional classes. In June, in May, June, July, there will be additional classes. We have not the luxury just to stop and wait 3 months to evaluate the results and stop completely the classes. For sure, again, as I said to the client some days ago, there will be periods that will be high intense because, you know, the weather permits, because the business season is not very high for those, for instance, that work part-time in summer in touristic services in Bukhara, for instance. So there will be period where women will be more available and more keen to join classes, and period that will be a little bit downside. So we will need to balance in our work plan, as you know, the number of classes according to the needs of the trainees, of course.
We're almost done. We've talked for probably an hour, and I see that you exhausted, but at the same time you're tired but also relaxed because the content is good. I'm personally enjoying it. But business aside, let's speak about you.
No, I'm not that important.
Who are you as a person, as a woman? As a conscious woman, if I want to run a business with someone, first of all, I'll try to understand that person, as a man, as a woman, what are her values,
No, I mean,
who is she,
yes, but
who she is.
this question to me always sound a bit odd because
As much as you want to share, like
no,
what
okay,
are
but
your
you know, when you ask somebody what person are you, he or she will always give the perception that she or he has of himself or herself. So I can tell you that, okay, I think that I am a very
modest, I can tell from
no,
your
a
words.
very demanding person, but then somebody will may, you know, translate I mean, the feature that I'm demanding with
Negative context.
yeah, with a negative context or negative perception. Or I can tell you that I really loved my job, and I think everybody would agree with that. I don't think anybody would.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but my point is, I just want to see a woman behind this. What woman behind this?
Look,
behind this project, behind this big ambitious goal that you're aiming. I just want to see, does Margarita like cooking? Does she like playing piano? Is she interested in music? Does she like reading? I just want to shed a bit of light on your personality as a human being.
Look, I think I'm a very strange person. I mean, I don't think there is other adjectives to describe myself. I have always had a huge passion for post-Soviet countries for some very strange reason.
Where does it come from? I
don't
wonder.
know. I really don't know. I mean,
From books you have read, maybe, or how did you get familiar or with the culture itself to start with?
I don't know. I mean, I know already that when I was a kid, I was, I don't know, reading. Vabbè, it's very political. I don't know if I want to, but I was very interested about Soviet Union. I mean, because you know, from Western perspective, we have a side of the story which is filtered a lot, and I didn't have any person who actually lived it. I mean, I'm a kid from the 90s, okay? So, okay, the world was getting globalized, but it was not yet common to, you know, meet people from Uzbekistan. I mean, I never met people from Uzbekistan up until 2006, I believe, in UK for summer school. So I've always been very curious. I've been curious about philosophy, and as such, I've been reading Marx, Engels, Plato, with this idea of communism. Then I think things got worse when I was 14. I was in UK, in Cambridge, and I was sharing my room with a girl from Kazakhstan. So for 1 month I lived with this friend. She's still my friend, actually, Anara. And you know, I started getting exposed to this part of the world, which was always very fascinating to me culturally, because, okay, you know, this is a geographic area with centuries of history, you know. It's not, as Italian, for us, Italians are very careful to the history of one country, you know. So I really respect the countries that have
long-standing in their history.
yeah, a solid heritage. And of course, this is the case of Central Asia as a whole. Uzbekistan, I mean, Alexander the Great came here. You know, Timur was a great empire. So it was always very, very fascinating to me. And then I went to Azerbaijan 10 years ago for the first time, only because I watched a documentary on TV at midnight in Italy. So yes, I mean, somehow I feel that getting close to this part of the world was always in my blood, because you know, it's not very common in Europe that people already at a very young age, when they are 20 or so, they know so much about this part of the world. Maybe nowadays it's different, but when I mean, 15 years ago, at least nobody knew what Azerbaijan was in Italy, where Uzbekistan was in my network. I mean, among teenagers or something of that around that age. So I've always been attracted. And I always joke with my mom that I want to do a DNA test. Because maybe now we're...
It has to be somewhere in my blood.
Yeah, from the past.
It's flowing in my veins.
I don't know, maybe somebody was with Marco Polo coming here, I don't know, some dirty business happened, I don't know. And that's how I have this in my route. Often they tell me I look Tajik. I don't know if this is true.
Yeah, some features. Yeah, eyebrows, unibrows, and fair skin.
Yeah,
Fair
sometimes they
skin.
tell me I look Uzbek, sometimes Azerbaijani. So
You do have some
I have
Oriental facial.
Yeah. Nobody.
Features.
It was very funny actually. Some months ago, I'll tell you to have some fun. I was here in Tashkent at the hotel, and there was a delegation from Italy, from one university, and I heard them speaking in Italian, so I jumped in because I'm always happy when I hear Italian abroad. And I started talking, and then they stopped, they looked at me and said, "Wow, you speak very good Italian. Where did you learn?" I was like,
Of course, I'm Italian.
I said, "I'm Italian." Okay, we kept talking, and after another 5 minutes, they were like, "But your parents also are from Italy?" I said, "Okay, if you want, I show you my passport, More than that, I cannot do." So, yeah, I mean...
Just like I told you when I first met you the other day, from the first look, I looked at you, you are so Italian. From a very first moment.
I mean, the Italians don't agree, apparently, but yeah.
You're a very unique Italian woman in Uzbekistan and Central Asia.
Yeah.
Putting a lot of efforts to empower women in Central Asia, and it's very noble and interesting, and thanks so much. I believe... I was going to ask you one more question, but I see that you're tired.
No, I mean, it's okay.
I really wanted to cover the part how you ended up, because I see that this specific area, empowering women, and it gives you an immense pleasure, and how I really want to shed light on that side as well. Women empowerment, and how did you find out that you are a strong leader woman, willing to, because consulting business, people, we have a lot of different opinions in terms of evaluating consulting business. Many people look at it like, oh, this is a joke, like they don't, some people don't really give a certain value, like especially those hardcore professionals, like, I don't know, from IT world or from finance or from management. They look at and say, oh, consultants, we get that.
I mean, first of all, consultancy is the job for the people, made by the people for the people. So as such, maybe it doesn't require, and forgive me this definition, a strong technical skill, but it requires a lot of empathy and understanding of the environment to propose something that is pragmatic and sustainable. So, maybe it's not a solid profession like an engineer or a doctor, but still it has a value. And that's why even nowadays I believe that ChatGPT will never substitute us. Because, okay, maybe it can write some report or some parts, but when it comes to interaction with the people, the emotional...
Human aspect.
Yeah, the emotional intelligence, the sympathy, the natural, overlapping of interest, of passion, will never be substituted. Then, put this aside. Why did I end up doing this job? Well, as you know, I'm a lawyer. And I can proudly say that I hate law. No, jokes aside. I mean, law, it's very beautiful, and it gives you the possibility to have a very analytical mindset, which I believe is helping me in my job.